welcome to Season 2, Episode 38 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host, Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches in Impact Wrestling history with match number 13 on our list, which is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship Tournament semi-final match between Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy from the TNA No Surrender 2010 event held on September the 5th, 2010. Now, this is a match that I think could possibly get a lot of criticism, which, you know, I wouldn't doubt the validity of. That said, wrestling is subjective, right? We've talked about that on this show before. I remember when this match happened, getting into a little bit of an argument with my friend Ben Turpin regarding it, just because I loved it and he thought the complete opposite. You know, it really depends on what you look for in pro wrestling. I look for a bunch of different things in my wrestling. And one thing that I find can elevate a match is a heightened sense of drama. And that's what this match brings to the table. The psychology in it, not really there, right? It's two guys that, you know, you could argue, especially at this point in their careers, you know, we're really, you know, past their prime. And both of them would kind of revitalize it later, but, you know, we're both in pretty rough spots with their careers. You know, it's certainly a move fest, right? But again, if you look at some matches throughout the years that I think are, you know, remembered kind of fondly, it all has to do with that drama surrounding it. And I think that this match really delivered in spades with that. So how we got to this point, Rob Van Dam was the TNA World Heavyweight Championship at the Whole Effin' Show event in August of 2010. He defeated Abyss in a Stairway to Janice match to retain the title. Janice was the name of Abyss's weapon that he was using, which was basically like a board with nails out of it. After that match, Abyss bludgeoned Rob Van Dam in the backstage area with Janice. It left him, you know, all ripped open and bloody and quite, you know, the over-the-top visual. That led to Rob Van Dam being hospitalized, the title being declared vacant, and that bringing us to this tournament. So the No Surrender pay-per-view saw the semifinals where the finals would occur the following month at Bound for Glory, TNA's, you know, traditionally biggest pay-per-view of the year. Mr. Anderson, or you know, Ken Kennedy, as you might know him better from the WWE, he ended up winning the main event of No Surrender over the Pope D'Angelo De Niro to, you know, get his spot in that Bound for Glory match. This match happened earlier in the show to determine, you know, who would get that other spot. So, like I mentioned, you can just tell when you watch this match, both guys are in pretty rough shape. You know, Kurt Angle, he looks pretty worn down. Jeff Hardy, you know, looks a little out there. He's a little sloppy in the early goings of the match as well. And, you know, it's well documented the problems that he would have after, you know, eventually winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. You know, that infamous match with Sting that aired on pay-per-view. This match, like I said, is really, at least for the first, you know, 20-minute portion, it's really just these guys running through their signature offense. So Hardy starts, you know, hits all of his trademark Jeff Hardy stuff. Kurt Angle hits like a brutal snap powerbomb to cut that off. And then we get, you know, German suplexes and the run up the ropes belly to belly off the top and the twist to fade and the angle slam. Jeff misses a swanton, Angle misses a moonsault, right? All of that stuff that you would expect from these guys. The match escalates though. They go to the floor. Jeff Hardy hits a twist of fate on the floor and then proceeds, you know, just in an absolutely lunatic spot to hit a swanton bomb off the top rope to Kurt Angle, who was lying unprotected on the arena floor. It was nuts. I've never seen Jeff Hardy do that move before this. I don't know if I've ever seen him do it again after. It was just really reckless and brutal, and it looked great. We go back inside, and Jeff Hardy shows a really great sense of urgency of trying to get the win. He hits another twist of fate. He hits two swanton bombs, keeps getting two off of it. He goes for a third. Angle gets the knees up, and then Angle, you know, proceeds to go for his own sense of urgency. He knows that the ankle lock is going to be his key to victory. He keeps going for that. You know, Hardy fights him off, you know, numerous times. Finally, Angle gets him locked in it good. There's a really big, long struggle, and the match goes to the 20-minute time limit that all of these tournament matches had. Eric Bischoff comes down. He confirms, with Dixie Carter, who's at ringside, that they're going to go for 5 more minutes. At this point, Jeff Hardy can barely stand after the fight that he put up in the ankle lock at the end of regulation time. Kurt Angle pounces on that and immediately just brutally starts stomping Jeff Hardy's ankle. Hardy's able to fight Angle off. He goes up top for the swanton once again, but the sore ankle, gives him trouble climbing. It leads to him being too slow on the swanton. That allows Angle to hit an angle slam off the second rope. It only gets 2. Hardy counters a charging Angle into a back body drop to the floor. At this point, Angle has exerted so much energy himself that he's barely able to sneak in to prevent the countout loss. And both guys end up hitting a double clothesline as the 5-minute overtime period expires. Once again, we get more conferencing with Eric Bischoff and Dixie Carter, and they agree to go another 5 minutes as we are now in double overtime. And this is where this match, really kind of works for the drama. Kurt Angle immediately jumps Jeff Hardy at the bell. He is incredibly aggressive, more aggressive than he has been all match. He's choking, he's punching, he's stomping. He's doing all of this stuff outside of, how he had worked the match previously, which is his typical Kurt Angle style. But he makes a pivotal mistake. He goes for charging the counter, hits his shoulder off the ring post. Hardy proceeds to pounce on that, smash his head off the ring steps, and Angle just hits a super big time gory blade job. There is blood everywhere. We get a great, Steve Austin, Bret Hart wrestling a 13 visual where Jeff Hardy locks, Angle in a Boston Crab, and there's just a huge puddle of blood on the mat, with Angle's head resting in it. Angle manages to get out of that Boston Crab, turns it into an ankle lock, and the time expires once again. We're now at 30 minutes. There is no further overtime, as Eric Bischoff states that due to the condition of Jeff Hardy's ankle and the blood loss from Kurt Angle, that neither combatant is able to continue. This would lead to a rematch on Impact, where they would again go, into the reaction, hour after TNA. That they would go long. It would end up being a double pinfall, and we would eventually get a triple threat match at Bound for Glory with these two and Mr. Anderson. That would lead to Jeff Hardy, winning the TNA World Heavyweight title, a heel turn where the, they, as they were being called up to there, was revealed with Abyss and Hulk Hogan and Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Hardy forming a heel faction. And TNA did something that was really, really, really great that I don't think people remember. They did a special edition of Reaction after Bound for Glory that showed, the build to that heel faction forming and all of these things that had happened throughout the summer that at the time, you would have had no clue about how they all fit into that heel turn. It was almost like a Marvel movie, how they brought, all of these callbacks together, and it actually showed some rare, instance of long-term booking from TNA. And this No Surrender match was a highlight of that, where, Jeff Hardy was supposed to win this match, and that's why we kept getting the overtime. And Bischoff and Dixie finally called it off because they knew, Hardy was going to lose that match due to his ankle. Thankfully, they had the built-in excuse of the blood loss on Angle that they could call it off. This match, the wrestling historian in me really appreciated it. It was 15 years to the month after the double overtime Brian Pillman and Johnny B. Bad match from Fall Brawl 95, which is one of my favorite matches ever. I'm sure that there was, no thought of that, when it came to this match, but I just like that kind of tie in there. These are two guys well past their prime, delivering the performance of a lifetime with high drama, lots of blood. It fit into the story with that long-term booking. Like I said, I love this match. I wasn't sure how it would hold up in 2021, but I was happy that it held up tremendously well. I thought this match was an absolute blast. You can watch it on Impact Plus, of course. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube, follow on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again tomorrow as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50. Top 50.